Her lawyer's tone was smooth, deliberate. "My client's husband is a low-level mechanic with a record of disappearing. He isn't suitable for custody." The words struck the courtroom walls like hammer blows. My wife didn't glance at me. She didn't have to. She had already decided she'd won. Then, almost softly, like the final twist of a knife, she said, "He didn't even come to my mother's funeral." I looked at her. She knew the reason I hadn't been there. But she also knew I couldn't prove it. Not yet. That's when the bailiff stepped forward, his hand raised slightly. "Your Honor," he said, "someone from the State Department is here." He said it's urgent. The courtroom froze. A man in a neat gray suit entered. Calm, emotionless, and certain. He carried a folder stamped with a red insignia. I leaned back in my chair. I didn't smile, but my pulse slowed, perfectly timed. We had met 12 years earlier at a garage on 8th Street. I was replacing brake pads on her father's car when she walked in, pretending she needed directions. She smelled like summer and expensive perfume. I remember thinking she didn't belong anywhere near oil or sweat or men who worked with their hands. But she laughed at my jokes, brought me coffee the next day. I didn't realize then that she liked the way I looked at her, like she was rare, unreachable. I built her a life, bought her a house, painted it blue because she said it looked hopeful. Every dinner I fixed, every late shift I worked, it was for her. And for the boy we had 2 years later. For a while, I believed we couldn't break. Then came the silence. It started small. She'd text less, hide her phone face down, pick fights over nonsense. Dishes, receipts, the smell of grease. One night while cleaning, I noticed a wine glass. One extra, still wet in a rack. We hadn't steered a bottle in months. A week later, I found a hotel receipt. Her name wasn't on it, but the date matched, and the card number was hers. I didn't confront her. Not then. People think betrayal destroys you. It doesn't. It refines you. I began to observe. Not stalk, just watch. The routes she took, the calls she made, the names that slipped into her sentences. Eric from marketing, just a colleague. I met Eric once, shook his hand at a company event. He looked at me like I was something stuck to his shoe. That night, I quit drinking. I didn't sleep much either. My thoughts became sharp, quiet. The night of her mother's funeral, I was supposed to be in Warsaw. At least that's what my flight record said. In reality, I was in a warehouse in Delaware, helping an old friend from my former unit. Before I was a mechanic, I was something else. Something the government doesn't document. Missions that never made headlines. Disappearances that weren't coincidences. She never knew that part of me. I kept it hidden. When she betrayed me, I realized it could be useful again. I called in one favor. Just one. A man named Patel. He owed me his life since Kabul, 2013. He worked at the State Department now, cyber intelligence. The kind of man who could make or erase a record with a single command. We met in a diner off Route 50. He didn't ask questions. I slid a photo across the table. Eric from marketing. Patel nodded once. 2 weeks later, I had everything. Offshore transfers, fake consulting fees, a company registered onto my wife's maiden name. Fraud, tax evasion, enough to destroy them both. But I wasn't after destruction. I wanted precision. I wanted her to feel the ground shift beneath her. When the custody hearing came, I played my role perfectly. Looked tired. Wore the same gray suit I used for interviews. Let her lawyer call me unstable. Watch her agree, calm and confident. She thought this was the final step before she erased me from our son's life. Then the bailiff spoke. The man from the State Department entered and handed the judge the folder. He whispered something. The judge's eyes widened. My wife's lawyer frowned. Your Honor, is there an issue? The judge didn't respond right away. He read carefully, lips tightening. Then he looked at her. Mrs. Carver, he said, you're listed as a managing partner in an ongoing federal investigation into shell corporations used for embezzlement. She went pale. Her lawyer leaned toward her, whispering in panic. She stammered, that's impossible. I didn't move. I just watched her world tilt. The man in the suit stepped forward. We'll need to speak with Mrs. Carver privately, Your Honor. The judge nodded, cleared his throat, and turned to me. Mr. Carver, he said, given these circumstances, the court finds no reason to deny your custody claim. I looked at her for the first time in months. Her eyes no longer held anger, only fear and confusion. She mouthed the words, "What did you do?" I didn't answer.